are there other concepts that have been helpful, even since we've talked last?
Yeah, compassion. So I've been really struggling a lot with going bald, and it was really a long struggle, and I could understand it cognitively. Um, like what was the belief keeping it? But it was still a struggle. Um, so then leaning into it was shaving my head really short. And then that helped. So finding like a more offensive approach towards my OCD has helped.
Yeah, that's a great example. So tell me more about, a lot of people have trouble when they're trying to develop compassion. Can you say more about the process of developing compassion that you've undergone?
Yeah, I think a lot of patience there. It was not something that came easy to me. I think for me, it was always if I did something or I didn't do something, like I wasn't able to go on that flight, I beat myself up over it. And I thought that that would be an effective way to like make me act the way I wanted to act. And that was just like my habit. That was how I dealt with things. But I find that being compassionate is more effective. And I was always afraid that, oh, it was too soft. But I'm finding that that's not the case, that if I'm patient and compassionate to myself, I can actually do the things I want to do. And if I slip, then I can kindly try again next time. So it's just more effective.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's a really great description. And are there other things that are coming to mind? What else is coming to mind?
In terms of
how you've been kind of since our last session. So it sounds like in many ways things are going really well. Your time is not robbed from OCD as much. You're feeling a lot more compassionate. You're feeling like your relationship with fear is better. Are there other things that are going well or things that you're struggling with?
yeah, I still struggle with the intrusive thoughts, right? So the bald stuff and like the aging stuff, still, it's hard. And I feel like I'm doing the things I'm able to do to not resist it, but for some reason it's still sticky. And maybe it just needs to be like running in the back of my mind as I go about my day. And maybe that'll over time dissipate. I don't know exactly.
What do you think is keeping it sticky?
Yeah, that's the thing I don't know. I mean, to me, the belief is that I will not be able to belong. Like I'll look old and I won't be able to date in the way I want to date, and I won't be able to like. There's just this ageism that I feel, and maybe it's my projection, but I feel that there's an ageism in society, and as I age, people will look at me differently, and less opportunities will be available. I think that's my fear that's keeping it. Yeah, so I think that's the feeling keeping it.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you try to cope with that fear?
Right. One coping technique is what's important to me, and like what brings me joy and what motivates me. And that is not having hair on my head. That's the things I do. Um, so that's kind of my counterbalance to it.
Mm-hmm. And what do you mean by the things that you do?
So yeah, just the things I do day to day. I am very intentional about what I do with my days now. And that means a lot to me, much more so than other things. So that's what I mean by things that I do.
Mm-hmm. Can you be more specific?
About the specific things I do?
Yeah, that are more meaningful to you than, for instance, the hair on your head?
Yeah. I like to do things that are creative and create and be curious and explore my curiosities. I like to write and find new skills. And I also like to collect data now. I think I found that really helpful in terms of guiding what I do every day. And then I'll do something and I'll rate how did that feel when I was doing it. And if over time it's like an 8, like I'll rate it out of a 10. And if over time it's an 8, 9, then that's something I want to keep doing, even if I'm feeling tired or bored. And if it's something that's like a 4 or 3 or 2, then it's something I can discard and not really explore anymore. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great. Can you tell me more about how you arrived at that system? That's a really great system.
Yeah, I think it's been a journey of just being curious and then finding out what other people were doing, incorporating some of that, and then putting my own twist on it. Um, so I have a schedule of what I do every single day from start of the day to get all my checklist done, and then I can just relax for the rest of the day to kind of balance and not burn myself out. Um, but it was just being curious, and then like I got curious about how to do Google Sheets, and Google Sheets let me make a schedule for myself that was really cool to follow. And so one curiosity led to another, and then I don't even remember where I got the idea. I think it was a YouTube video I watched to like rate my activities. And so it's just about being curious and getting information from people that play poker on how they make decisions, and getting information on ultra runners on how they do their workouts and go towards discomfort. And it's just all these curiosities kind of coalesce together for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, all of that makes sense to me. It seems like in the presence of fear, it's really challenging to be curious. Did you feel the process of becoming more curious as your anxiety decreased?
Absolutely. I think one thing you talked about in the podcast last time was once my day to day compulsions dropped, then I was able to experience more. So once that happened, I think that's what led to me being able to experiment with my curiosities.
Yeah, that's so a lot of people wouldn't necessarily come into therapy saying that they're hoping to become more curious, but rather curiosity is kind of the natural consequence of becoming less anxious and being curious about the process of how you relate to anxiety more effectively. So it's great to hear that that's really generalized for you.